start your computations.
Hey, what's up you guys? My name is Brittany and welcome to my channel. So I'm super excited because this is my very first video here on YouTube ever, and today's video is going to be a nursing 101 video. So this is for all of you guys who are entering nursing school, or you might be already in nursing school and you want to learn some new tips. This one's for you. So I'm in my 4th out of 5th semester and I think I know what I'm talking about by now. So if that sounds good to you, stay tuned and keep watching. Okay y'all, so tip number 1 is going to be all about planners. You need a planner in nursing school because if you don't already have one, you need to get one, because nursing school can very quickly get hectic and you're going to be so busy wondering what group you're in, what day is clinical, what day is lab, and it's just going to be a mess. You need to go ahead and pre-plan out when you have homework, when exam days are due, what day you need to be in lab, what day you need to be in clinical, and any other obligations that you need to be at. That needs to be written down in your planner. I pre-plan my planner out at least 2 weeks before, if not the whole entire semester, because sometimes I'll just be so busy during the semester that I don't even feel like planning. So I do encourage you guys to pre-plan out your whole entire semester, but if you can't do that or if you don't want to do that, go at least 2 weeks out, because trust me, it will help you. You can just leave it on your dresser, on your vanity, wherever you need to leave it, and you can just flip and look at it and see what's due and you'll be straight. Okay, so my planner is this one. It's by Happy Planner, and you know, I got this one at Joann's for about $17, which is pretty pricey, I'm not going to lie. You don't need a super expensive planner. You can get one from Walmart or Target for about $5 or $10. Target sells some really cute ones for about, you know, $5 or $10 as well, so I do recommend those. But honestly, you don't need to get anything this expensive. You just need one that's going to keep your life less stressful and that's going to fit your needs and fit what you need for your life. So go ahead and get one, guys.
I think we're getting a little...
All right, y'all, we're moving on to tip number 2, and that is all about book bags. Go ahead and get yourself a good and supportive book bag if you don't already have one, because you really do need one in nursing school. In nursing school, I feel like I'm carrying 50 bags on me. You know, I have my nursing school bag that has all of like the stuff that they gave us at the beginning of the semester, like in the first semester to like practice in lab, and then I might have my lunchbox, and then I might have my water bottle, and then of course I have my book bag, and it's just too darn much. So this is my book bag. This one is by Swiss Gear. It's black all over, and I've had this one for about 4 years now. The straps on it are padded. The back is also padded. I use this little tug right here to hoist up my book bag when I need it. It has 3 compartments, so it has a laptop compartment, which you do need. If you don't have a book bag that has a laptop compartment, you need to switch and get one like right now, because they're a lifesaver. And then there's the main compartment, and then there's a second one. This smaller compartment right here, I use this all the time for stuff that I need really quickly, like my phone, my keys, my chapstick, stuff like that. And then of course I have the 2 pockets on the side. And then if you're wondering what all these little straps on the book bags are for, that is for extra carrying. I use those extra straps on there to clip my water bottle or my lunchbox on there so I can keep my hands free and I feel great. So if you don't have a supportive book bag that has, you know, lots of compartments, lots of straps on it so you can carry multiple stuff on there, you need to go ahead and get you one. I know a lot of girls and guys like the North Face book bags, and a lot of people in my cohort have those, so those might be something to look out for you guys. So we are moving on to tip number 3, which is all about stethoscopes. Get a good stethoscope. You really do need one. You need one that you can actually hear things with, because in clinical we use our stethoscopes all the time for heart sounds, breath sounds, bowel sounds, amongst other sounds. You don't want to look at your clinical instructor or your lab director or whoever is grading you, watching you, judging you, and say, I can't hear anything.
And
Yeah, you just don't want that. And not all stethoscopes are created equal. I have tried some that weren't the best and I couldn't hear anything, but the stethoscope that I have now, I can hear everything, okay? This is my stethoscope. It is pink with gold hardware and then like rainbow hardware on the diaphragm and bell. And so this stethoscope is made by Littmann, the brand, and this is a brand that you will probably be recommended by your school or by people. You have probably already been recommended this brand, and you know what? I like it. You know, I don't really have anything else to compare it to, but it is a good brand and I can hear everything with it. I use it all the time. I know a lot of people who have this brand as well. I think everyone in my cohort might have this brand, but I'm not sure. So this color, actually, a lot of girls in my cohort actually have this color and I didn't think they would. And so what I will say about that is try and get a color. I recommend getting a color. You don't have to, but I recommend getting a color that maybe not everyone has, because you know you don't want to get it mixed up with anybody. You can get your name inscribed on this, but you know if you don't want to pay for it, it's only like $10. But if you don't want to pay for it, you could run the risk of getting it mixed up with somebody. Also, don't leave your stethoscope laying around places. In my first semester, I had a really bad habit of leaving my stethoscope at the nurse's station at clinical when I was done listening to my patients, and don't do that. Don't be like me. Carry your stethoscope all the time, or just, you know, don't leave it out for just anyone to see, because people will take it. There are people who will borrow your stethoscope and not give it back. There are people who have had doctors, nurses, whoever walk off with their stethoscopes and they never got it back. You don't be one of those people. Okay guys, so we're moving on to tip number 4, which goes back to clinical and paperwork, and my advice to you was to get a clipboard, you guys. So I've actually lost my clipboard, so I can't find it right now for this video. If I can find it, I'll insert like some clips or an image of it so I can show you guys what it looks like. But a clipboard was recommended to basically our entire cohort to use at clinical, so you can store like your paperwork in there, because if your nursing school is anything like mine, every time you go to clinical, there's paperwork that needs to be done. And so yeah, I carried around a clipboard. So my clipboard was from Walmart and it's about $7. And yeah, just don't overpay for a clipboard. I know people in my cohort who have. Just don't. Just get a cheap one, because you may not even carry it around for all of the semesters or all of the years that you're in nursing school like me. So that brings me to my next point. I don't really use my clipboard that much in nursing school, even though I'm recommending it to you. My first few semesters in nursing school, I did use it and it was pretty helpful because I could stand and write on it and stuff like that. But when you're going into a patient's room, you know, because you might have paperwork to do on a patient, when you're going into a patient's room, you're generally going in there because you need to do something. And so when you bring in your clipboard, you're really not going to be using it. You have to put it on a bunch of services and you just don't really want to do that, and you know, it gets in the way. So yeah, I just usually put my paperwork in my pocket with my pen, and whenever I get some time, I'll sit at the nurse's station, or I'll get like a computer on wheels and I'll just do it there. Just simply get 2 pairs of nursing school scrubs, because you never know when you're going to need the other pair. In fact, I use my nursing school scrubs, both of them, regularly. They both get regular wear every single time I'm in, like, the semester starts over or I need to go to clinical or lab. You should get 2 pairs, because there are some days where like you may not be able to do laundry, or you need to go back to clinical or back to lab back to back consecutively, and it just works out if you have 2 pairs of nursing school scrubs. Also, this kind of goes along with the nursing school uniform. Get supportive nursing school shoes. Please, please, please do yourself a favor and get some good supportive nursing school shoes. Your feet and your back will thank you. I'm just here to say, study in advance, study your notes in advance. You have probably already heard your teachers or your professors say this, but this rings true so much in nursing school, because you just don't have a lot of time. And if your nursing school is anything like mine, you don't have a lot of time to study in between the tests. You have a test like every 1.5 weeks, 2 weeks max, and it's just not convenient for you. And so I recommend studying right when you get your notes, and if you can't do that, I recommend studying within the same week that you get your notes, and at least before your next session that you have that class for. That's what works best for me, and I really think that it would help you guys as well, because trust me, you don't want to get behind. You won't have to study as much if you study in advance as well. Don't memorize notes, don't memorize lectures, don't memorize PowerPoints, just don't memorize. I recommend trying to understand the information, and again, that's something you've probably heard your professors say already, or you've heard other people say, and that is super true, super important in nursing school. I honestly believe that if you truly understand the information, you will do very well on the test, because all of the tests are application questions. We very rarely get a question that is just a fact, just asking about a simple fact. We get a few of those, but not that much. We have to understand the information and then apply it to a real life scenario, and that way we can come to the answer. Relaxation. You really do need to find something that is going to help you relax in nursing school and de-stress. You cannot just simply study all of the time. You're going to burn out, you're going to hate yourself and hate your life. So do something, find a hobby, find something, you know, that's going to help you relax. Self-care is super important, and your mental status is also super important, and I don't want any of you guys to feel like, you know, you can't take a few hours off, a few days off if you can afford it, to go ahead and just try to decompress. As long as you feel comfortable with where you are in your studying process, I don't see why there should be a problem with you trying to relax. Practicing your skills often. So in nursing school, you are taught so many different skills. You are taught a series of skills that you need to know by the end of your nursing school program. And guys, do not slack off on those. In lab, we learn how to do the skills, and then we have another lab called Open Lab, which is where we can go on our own time and practice those skills. I go to Open Lab all the time. I try to go very often because I really don't want to get behind on my skills. I want to brush up on skills that I may have learned when I first entered nursing school till now and stuff like that, and that's very important to me. When you go to clinical, try and volunteer often and to learn and stuff like that. And if you don't feel comfortable, your instructor is always there to help you, or he or she is always there to do it first so you can watch them and then you can do it. Know your assessments as well. Let me say something about that. We learn a lot of assessments in nursing school. We learn assessments for every single body system. We also learn what's called a shift assessment. A shift assessment is super important because that's a shift that you do every time you come on shift, every time you start your shift. That will give you baseline information about your patient, so that way if they change at all, you know where they started at and you know where they are now. That is one assessment that you do need to know pretty much by heart, because you're going to be doing it all the time. Even as a nursing student, this is a skill that we practice even at our clinical site, and that you probably should know so you can do it smoothly and you can tell your patient what to do. This is all about your clinical site and your first clinical experience. Going to clinical for the first time and the first few times can be scary. I was in y'all's shoes. I was scared. I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect, and my first clinical experience made me want to drop out. Of course I didn't, because I'm still here. But don't be nervous, you know, or try to relax. You know, it's okay to be nervous. You're going to have a group of people there with you, or at least for me, there was a group of us there, and you can rely on them to kind of put you at ease, and you guys can go in patients' rooms together with people in your group, so you guys can provide patient care together. Your clinical instructor is also going to be there, so you can ask him or her to help guide you through your first clinical experience. If you want to perform a procedure, you can have your clinical instructor watch you, or you can have them do it first, and that way you can do it the second time. Don't be afraid to volunteer. And while you're at clinical, just try and make the best of the clinical experience. Try and get the most out of that clinical experience. Go and see procedures that you will be learning. Go see it being done. If someone's getting a catheter or an NG tube being put in, or central lines being put in, go and watch that being done. You never know when you're going to see it again. Alright you guys, so we have come to the end of the video, and I just want to thank you guys so much for watching and being a viewer today. It means the world to me because this is my very first video. I hope you learned something new, you got a new tip, or this put you at ease. I didn't want to make this video too long, so some of the stuff that I said was a little bit short, but you know what, I still hope you got something out of it. If you have any questions, you can leave them down in the comments below. Have a good day, you guys.